So recently I moved into a new apartment and I thought it'd be nice to get some plants. I knew they probably wouldn't last too long if I was taking care of them, either from neglect or leaving my place for long periods of time. So once I got my plant home, I needed to come up with an idea to take care of it, either when I'm away or forgetting to water it. So I thought an automated system could be pretty simple to solve this problem. And since I'm taking a course in instrumentation and electronics, I thought this would be a good way to solve two problems by taking care of my plant and satisfying my final project for my course. So now that I have my plant, I just need a computer. So what I'll be using is the CPX. It's called the Circuit Playground Express, which is like an Arduino, but instead of using C++, it uses Python for coding. So my circuit basically needed to be able to control a solenoid valve to turn on and off the water based on the readings of a soil moisture sensor. So here I have the Circuit Playground Express hooked up through a 4.7 kilo ohm resistor to an NPN transistor. So whenever the CPX wants the transistor to turn on, it sends a signal to the transistor, and then those 5 volts can flow through the transistor and through this relay here, and that turns on a mechanical switch which closes the circuit up top here for the solenoid valve to then be able to open up and water the plant. For measuring the water in the soil, I use the soil capacitive moisture sensor, and this just let me know when the plant needed to be watered. Here I'm turning on and off my solenoid valve. You can hear the clicking as it turns on and off. So now I need to test my circuit. I'm doing this by putting my moisture sensor in a glass of water. This is simulating the plant being well watered. And whenever this happens, the LED on my circuit board goes dim, saying that the valve is off. And whenever I take the moisture sensor out, it's indicating that the plant is dry and needs to be watered. And you will see the LED turn on and the valve switch on. For my bucket, I just found something cheap at Walmart that I could hold a bunch of water and drilled a hole in the side of it, and then printed out this 1/4" adapter that attaches to my hose, that attaches to my solenoid valve, that then goes to the plant. So here's basically my setup. I have my bucket along with the little red piece you can see sticking out that I 3D printed that goes to my 1/4" hosing. I had made sure to keep the bucket above the plant, so I don't need a pump or any other sort of energy besides potential energy to bring the water to my plant. There's my capacitive soil moisture sensor that I was touching, and then there is my solenoid valve, which I'll be controlling with the CPX. My code is pretty simple. Since the CPX is a 16-bit computer, the values that the soil moisture sensor inputs will be between 0 and 65,536, depending on how wet or how dry the soil is. So I just did some calibration and found a good threshold for how wet I want the water to be at around 38,000. So whenever the soil gets above this water threshold, if it gets drier than this number, then the solenoid valve will open up for 30 seconds, allowing the plant to be watered for 30 seconds, and then it will continue to monitor until the soil gets down to that certain threshold again. So now with everything ready, I can start loading water into the bucket up top. You can see I used a lot of sealant to fill up any cracks when I drilled through the bucket for the 1/4" adapter. So here I am taking out the soil moisture sensor, and by doing that, it's saying that the plant is dry and needs to be watered, so the valve opens, and it's going to open for 30 seconds, and then it will check again the moisture sensor. It will check again and make sure that everything is good, and you'll see that the valve will cut off in a few seconds.